Would you call yourself a joyful person? This week we take a break in all the Lenten themes to rejoice in the Lord. Today we celebrate the fourth Sunday of Lent. We also call today Laetare Sunday. Laetare is a Latin word that means rejoice. Every year on the fourth Sunday of Lent, we celebrate a Sunday of rejoicing in the midst of the season of penance and preparation for Easter. The theme comes from the entrance antiphon of the Mass out of the book of the prophet Isaiah from chapter 66. Isaiah says, "Rejoice, Jerusalem, and all you who love her. Be joyful, all who are in mourning. Exult and be satisfied at her consoling breast." So this momentary break in Lenten themes expresses hope and joy in the midst of Lenten fasts and penances, and gives us all a glimpse of the joy that awaits us at Easter, just as we prepare to enter into the Passiontide, or we also say Palm Sunday. So let's look at the readings for the week. So for understanding our first reading today from the second book of Chronicles, it seems like it's important to realize that all of the first readings of Lent have been showing us high points of our salvation history, a kind of a review as we prepare for Easter. The first week of Lent, we heard from the book of Genesis and the covenant of God and the covenant that he made with Noah and Noah's descendants, the sign of which we are still able to see when a rainbow appears in the sky. The second week of Lent, we heard again from the book of Genesis, and now the covenant that God invoked with Abraham and his descendants. The sign of this covenant was circumcision. Last week, from the book of Exodus and the covenant that God invoked with Moses and the Hebrew people at Sinai, what we now call the Ten Commandments is what we celebrated. So this week, what we hear is a kind of a resume of now Israel's failure to keep the Sinai covenant, and now their punishment because of that failure, or the consequences for not keeping the covenant. They were exiled. Next week, we'll read the prophecy of the new covenant from the book of the prophet Jeremiah, and then celebrate its inauguration beginning on Palm Sunday with the triumphant entrance of Jesus into Jerusalem. That's kind of a resume of the whole of Lent. So let's ask the question, what is a covenant? The Catholic Encyclopedia says that it is a solemn promise or oath expressed in words or symbolic actions. A covenant with God then binds persons together beyond mere contractual agreement. It's a lifelong, perpetual commitment to fidelity and relationship. In our gospel today, it's revealed that Jesus is now the new and forever covenant established by God. Jesus is God, personally coming to us to establish yet again a relationship. St. John says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, so that everyone who believes in him might not perish, but might have eternal life." So how are we renewing the covenant in our hearts that God made with us through the sacrifice of Jesus, his Son, now, today? How are our lives joyfully reflecting the eternal love of the Father shown to us through the birth, suffering, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ? How are we living our life of baptism and our eternal life right now? Rejoice, be joyful and exult. For as St. John says, whoever lives the truth of God comes to the light, so that his works may be clearly seen as done in God. Thanks and God bless.